whether we're beating the books or taking bad beats, we're in this together. This is B4 Fantasy, Tennis, MMA, NFL, Sports Betting, and Daily Fantasy. It's my first time on video. I'm not any sort of technology or computer whiz. I'm also not a boomer, someplace in between. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, there is a visual that goes along with this that will be on YouTube by the same name, B4 Fantasy. So I'm going to be going through the bracket of the U.S. Open, as well as looking at some Draftkings, because Draftkings, which has been around in where I live for a very long time, just released tennis where I am. I couldn't do Wimbledon, I couldn't do any of the ATP events before that, so tennis is brand new to me on Draftkings. We'll learn this together. I am by no means any sort of an expert on tennis Draftkings. I've been doing Draftkings with MMA and NFL for quite some time, but not with tennis. That I am by no means an expert, like I said. But it'll be fun. We'll learn it together. Going through the bracket here, we're going to pick every guy on it. So this will be kind of just a fun activity. You're going to get a lot wrong. Just for example, I'm picking Djokovic to make it to the finals. He pulls his calf, then my whole bracket's messed up. You have no idea. But this isn't for money. This is just to be able to kind of go through, talk about all the matchups quickly, and just mainly I'm talking about it's going to be for the quarterfinals, the championship of who I think is going to make it there. I've already clicked Djokovic all the way to the finals. I do think he's going to make it to the finals. We'll save to the end if I think he is going to win it or not. He is the overwhelming future bet to win this. I think he's already at like minus 175, which is kind of crazy to think that there's a 2-week tournament. There's hundreds of people in this tournament, and Djokovic is minus 175 to win it. It makes sense, though. Dude's on fire. He's trying to break Federer and Nadal's and his record right now of the 22 majors, and be the first person since like 1960 or something to win all 4 Grand Slams. So he's obviously incredibly motivated. So let's go through this. Djokovic. Next up, I have Struff over a guy I've never seen play before, Greek Spore, Kai Nishikori. I'm a big fan of Kai Nishikori. Mackie McDonald versus Goffin. I like Goffin, but I'm going to I think Kai's going to be either one of these, so I'm just going to pick Mackie McDonald because I listened to Crack Racket's podcast, and he's a big fan of Mackie McDonald, and just a little shout out to him and his analysis. He knows more about tennis than me, that's for sure. I'm a big fan of Alan Karasev, so I'm picking him. I do like Munar. I like Munar more on clay. I'm going to pick Thompson over Magner. Brooksby, another guy who Crack Rackets podcast is a fan of. He's the world qualifier going against Ymer. Ymer just had a very good run in Salem. I don't think he's going to have the energy to come to the U.S. Open. So it's not like the traveling's difficult, just Boston and New York. But Brooksby's fresh. Ymer, I don't think he is some overly skilled player. So I think that Brooksby's going to take it down. I'm going to go Fritz. I'm a fan of Taylor Fritz. I hope that he can have some more breakthrough performances. He's looking at the brackets. I might be putting him a little winning 3 or 4 matches here, losing maybe to Djokovic. But yeah, Fritz. I want to see some breakthrough matches with him. Fan of Fritz. Herkratz. Always a fan of Herkratz. So we're gonna pick him, and then we're gonna pick Fuchsovics. And Kudla versus Dreer. I don't really like either of these guys. I'm going to pick Dreer, but it doesn't really matter because they're going to be facing the next match my boy Sonego, who's going against Qualifier 2. Qualifier 2, don't know who he is. It's a pretty generic name there. So Sonego is going to win that and make it. I think he might be another guy who I'm going to have a few more wins on this for him. Fonini, I gotta pick my boy Fognini, obviously. I pick all the Italians and the Americans. A little bit of a fanboy for them. Ivishka also had a very good run over in Salem, but he is a better player than Ymer, in my opinion. He's also a spottier player, I will admit. He'll be really great one week, and then he'll lose to, I don't know, some bum, Shardy. He'll lose to like a guy like Shardy another week. But I'm going to put Ivishka, again, either him or Sandgren. Fognini is going to beat him. Also, now that I think about Sandgren, I picked Sandgren to win in Washington. I'm drawing a blank who he was playing right now off the top of my head. But in the middle of the match, he strained like his lat muscle. He ended up retiring in the third set. He won the first set, lost the second set, strained a lat muscle, started the third set and retired. So he might also be a little compromised still, and might literally just be coming here because it's a nice, whatever they get for showing up and losing like $20,000 for $30,000 or something. So we're going to pick Ivishka, and we're going to have Fognini beat Ivishka right away. The next match, Stefano Travaglia. I'm picking him simply because I got the same first name as him, and he's Italian. He's a bum. He's just not good, and he's going to lose the next match anyways because it's against Berrettini. Matteo Berrettini, who Berrettini's my middle name. So we got my first name versus my middle name going there. And we're going to have Berrettini. He's just going to be going through. Berrettini's going to beat all the Italians here. He's going to beat Stefano. He's going to beat Fognini. And then, will he be playing? Oh, man. That's going to be a good match. We're just going to, just because we're fans, we're going to go up here. We're going to put Herkratz through over... Actually, no, I think I'm going to pick an upset here of Fucsovics over Herkratz in the second round. Herkratz is a very spotty player. He'll make deep runs, semifinals in Wimbledon, won the ATP 1000 in Miami, and then he'll go on losing streaks of like 4 matches in a row in the first round, or go on a streak of winning the first match, losing the second match of every tournament. And Fucsovics is pretty good. I like watching him play. He has a big serve, and I think he can take it down. So I'm going to pick that as one of my upsets, and then I'm going to have Sonigo against Fucsovics, which sets up for, what would that be? A 4th round matchup that I will definitely get the VHS out to tape that, because Sonigo versus Berrettini at the U.S. Open, oh my god, I'm getting excited. I really hope I get to see that in the 4th round. I'm going to be rooting for Sonigo, but I think that's going to be Berrettini. But we'll get to that. I'm getting a little excited here, jumping ahead on the brackets by a long shot. I just noticed that I might get two of my favorite players facing each other in the 4th round. I got excited there. Zverev versus Sam Querrey. Zverev is on fire. He's one of the best players in the world. Sam Querrey he's better on grass. He's not that good. He's good. I won't shit on Sam Querrey, but Zverev is going to win. We're going to pick Pooley over Vinolas, just because I don't know. I don't know who's winning that match. It's kind of like a toss-up match, in my opinion. Zverev's going to beat him anyway, so we're just going to pick Pooley and then have him lose to Zverev. We're going to go with Sock over Nishioka. Again, nothing groundbreaking here. Sock's the world qualifier. Nishioka, he's a middling guy. I don't know what his rank is off the top of my head. I'm guessing he's probably in the deep 70s, 80s, just a guess. If I'm wrong, you can mock me in the comments there. And I think either way, Sock or Nishioka is going to lose to Bublik, who I have Bublik beating Hanif, and I have Bublik beating Sock. Monfils, I got him winning. Johnson, got him winning. I'm going to have Monfils beat Johnson as well. This is a match that I don't even know. SVAJD. Savja. I don't even know who Savja is. So I'm just going to pick Chechnado over him, which doesn't matter again because Jannik Sinner is on fire. He just won Washington. And he's one of the young guys that I definitely think is going to win a Grand Slam probably within the next 3-4 years. He's just a awesome talent. Not a hot take by any means. Jannik Sinner, everyone knows he's already arrived. Busta versus Qualifier 4. I don't know who Qualifier 4 is. I'm going to pick Busta. Probably my favorite matchup of the first round thus far, Sebastian Korda versus Basilashvili. I'm a big Korda fan. I love his game. He's another guy who I don't think he's on the same level yet as Jannik Sinner, but I think he can get there. I really hope he gets there. I want Korda to be one of those young guys who is challenging for 4 Grand Slams and 4 ATP 1000s. I want him to be. His family is like the sports family of America right now. I'm not sure where his dad is from. Obviously, his dad was a tennis player, but he's from Europe someplace. But now they're like the sports family of America. Nelly and I'm drawing a blank on his sister's name, but they're just killing it in the LPGA. And I want Korda to win this, but the reason why this is one of my favorite matches is I love Basilashvili. The man just he'll either lose this 6-0, 6-0, or he'll have 5 breaks of serve and 5 losses of serve in the first set, and you're just going to be like, what on earth is going on? This man is crazy. I love watching him play. In my opinion, he is my most entertaining player, maybe other than Rublev. I love watching Rublev play and Sonego. But Basilashvili is one of my favorite players on the ATP Tour for no reason other than the man is just so unpredictable. So this is a hard match to pick, and it kind of sucks that it's the first round because I love both these guys. I want them both to go deep. But I'm going to be a little crazy here, and I'm going to be predicting Basilashvili getting on a little hot streak, beating Korda and beating Busta, which we'll see if I'm going to even put him farther. Do not bet. Do not go out and bet some money lines of Basilashvili beating Korda and Busta or whatever. This is me just rooting for tennis that I find fun. Lorenzo Musetti versus a guy I don't know, Nava, world qualifier. I love Lorenzo Musetti. Again, I don't think this is a hot take, but I think Musetti, he's only 18 years old or something. I think he's going to be winning tournaments routinely in the next 3-4 years, and I'm hoping he can push it to get to that level of challenging for ATP 1000s and Grand Slams. So Musetti, Opelka versus Kwan. Now, unfortunately, in my experience of watching Musetti's matches, he is not good against serve bots. He doesn't know how to handle them. I remember watching him play in Miami versus... I'm drawing a blank on who. Look up who he played in Miami and lost to. It was a serve bot. I don't think it was Opelka. And he could not handle it. He absolutely could not handle that serve. I'm actually going to look it up while we talk here because now it's bothering me. He couldn't handle the serve. He's not a known name, so he's always on a smaller court that doesn't have as much room to run around. So he was on this small court in Miami, and he just looked lost out there. And he also looked lost. It wasn't even a serve bot. It was Killick. Killick has a big serve, and he has a bigger serve than most guys, but he's not Opelka level serve by any means. By no means is he Opelka level serve. So he's not that good at handling these big serves. Here it is. He faced Opelka in Italy I believe it was was it Rome? It might have been Rome. And he lost 6-4, 6-4, which is actually better than I thought. I thought he would have got beat a little bit more. Unless he's made some improvements and is practicing how to handle those guys who are one-dimensional, big serve and volley players like Opelka. I don't see him beating Opelka, despite me despising Opelka and Musetti being one of my favorite guys. So I'm going to have to be painful and pick Opelka to beat Musetti, which now makes me regret pushing Basilashvili through, because Basilashvili's game, in my opinion, is his return game, and he'll struggle against Opelka as well. You know what? I'm gonna mess with my brackets. I know I'm gonna be a revisionist history here, but I'm gonna go Korda. I'm gonna go Korda beating Busta, and I'm gonna go Korda beating Opelka. Just because I don't see Basilashvili beating Opelka. I can see Korda going all the way through. Obviously, the favorite to go through here is Busta. Busta has been on fire. He's the best player. Out of Busta, Korda, Basilashvili, Musetti, and Opelka, it's not even really debatable how much better Busta is than those guys. Not like how much better, but he's obviously the best of the group. So yeah, I just changed my picks. I'm a liar. All right, we got Karen versus Lloyd. Whenever a Karen and a Lloyd, any realm of Earth, it doesn't need to be tennis. It could be an argument at a fast food restaurant. It can be a Chihuahua dog park. If there's a Karen and a Lloyd going at each other, always pick Karen. Always. That is life advice. And if the Karen happens to be a 6'6" Russian man, then never pick Lloyd. There's the analysis. Cuevas versus Escobedo. I don't know Escobedo, so I'm going to pick Cuevas. Paul, was that who Sandgren played in Washington? I'll have to look that up. I don't know who I'm going to pick here. I'm just going to pick Paul. I think they're going to lose to the next round anyways. I like Dennis. I know I made fun of people named Dennis in my first podcast, but I do like Dennis. Don't trust them, but I do like him. Rublev, qualifier 5. Rublev is like the type of guy who can be ranked in the top 10 and lose the qualifier 5, 6, 7, 8 all day, every day, because he's a spaz. And that's why I love him, and that's why I'm picking him to win. Duckworth, TFO. Karajanovic versus Pella. I'm going to do Karajanovic. Agut versus Kyrgios. I'm going to do Agut, even though I want it to be Kyrgios. Kyrgios had an absolute meltdown and just blew it. The last match I saw him play, which was... What was that Washington? Let's look it up here. I'm going to do it up on the screen instead of on my phone like I did last time. Let's just do Kyrgios right here. It was... Or was it the Canadian Open? It was the Canadian Open. Washington's when he lost to Mackie McDonald, and that was the podcast when Crack Rackets was harping on how much they love Mackie McDonald and how good of a forehand down the line he has. It was the Canadian Open where he blew up against Opelka. He won the first set, and then in like the tiebreaker, he got in like the argument with the ref, and they started yelling at each other, and it was really bad. He just blew up. He sucked, and then I was very unimpressed with that. So even though I like Kyrgios, he's entertaining, he's fun. Kyrgios, Basilashvili would be like my most, or you know, and throw Monfils in there too, would be like my 3 favorite just watching tennis for entertainment. You know, in the first round, those are the guys I want to watch. But I like Agut. So I'm picking a Goot. Emil Rushavoudori, I don't know how to say his last name, but Emil, I bet him to win against, was it Dreer or Lajovic? I always get those guys' names confused, even though there's nothing similar about the name Dreer or Lajovic. He lost. I picked him to win in Washington against whichever one it was. I think it was Dreer. And he should have easily won that. He's the better player. He won the first set easily. Second set, he just sucked. And then he sucked in the third set too. And I swore him off. And then I picked against him in Salem. And, well, the rest is history. So I'm going to go with Emil. But I'm going to have Agut beat him in the next round, so then we don't have to think about him anymore. I picked Lopez over qualifier 8, FAA over qualifier 9, Guerin over Gumbos, Millman over qualifier 10, Pierre Benoit over Lajovic, Umbert over qualifier 11, Nori over Alcaraz, another young guy. I think he just turned 18. I'm actually a big fan of Alcaraz. Big fan of Nori. This is going to be a really good match. This is a match that messes up your bracket because both Nori and Alcaraz not only can win this match, but they can each easily win a match against the next guy, which would be Kekmanovic or Rindercheck. And then I don't know who they'd face after that, but yeah, this is one that can mess up a bracket. I'm going to go Nori, but that is a very low confidence pick. This will be a good match to watch. I'm going Kekmanovic. And the next match, Herbert over Marinario. Tsitsipas over Andy Murray. Andy Murray is like, does that man have knees? Just stop playing, man. Ruud over Tsonga. Casper Ruud. I'm a big fan of Casper Ruud. Another guy I think is going to keep pushing up to that top 10. Dude must have bought like a yacht or something and needed to pay it off because he's just been playing 250s in Europe when everyone else was in the U.S. getting ready for the U.S. Open and just like smoking them. I think he won like 4 in a row, cashing 45, 50K a piece on those tournaments, just taking food off the plate of the 300th ranked guys of the world who are trying to grind out a living here. Come on, Casper. I think in that run, besides Benoit Paire, you can look this up. I'm pretty sure he went on a streak of 3 or 4 ATP 250 wins. Besides Benoit Paire, like his highest ranked guy that he faced was like a 120. All right, enough ragging on him. We're going to go Ruud. Tab Burner versus Qualifier 12. Tab Burner is a nobody to me, but Qualifier 12 is even more nobody. Let's just go Qualifier 12. I want to pick someone without a name. Taro, Daniel, big fan. Picking him. Giles, Simon dropped out. He is not playing. I think his trainer got COVID, but Fokina was going to win anyways. And if you guys have listened to my test podcast, I'm a big fan of Fokina, but I do like Taro, so I'm going to go Taro over Fokina. Isner, Qualifier 13 versus Qualifier 14. Qualifier 13 has just been showing a lot of promise this year, so Qualifier 14 really I can see that he doesn't have the itch anymore. He seems a little bit lazy. So I'm going to go Qualifier 13. Ken Anderson, I'm going to pick him. Schwartzman versus Bernakis, going Schwartzman. Man, that's going to take a while. There's a lot of people playing. How long have we been recording for? 24 minutes. All right, we're going to go through this quicker. Dimitrov, Poppin, Guerin. We are going to go Dan Evans, though I can see upset by Monteiro. Killick, Aguilar, going for Gasket. All right, we're going to have to go through quicker here. So we're going to go through everything that we can see on the screen. We're going to go Gopher, Killick, Evans. This is a weak part of the bracket, man. Poppin. This is a very weak part of the bracket. I never would pick. I'm picking Evans over Poprin. I would never thought I was going to put Killick all the way to the quarterfinals ever. But geez, I must have misclicked something. Who am I missing? No, I'm not missing anyone. I didn't. Oh, I am missing. I didn't see Medvedev down here. I'm an idiot. Medvedev is who I have. Spoiler alert. He's who I have winning. Not an easy part of the bracket. Killick, sorry, dude. Third round. Medvedev over Evans. Medvedev has an easy part of the bracket. Damn. Schwartzman, Isner. Schwartzman's going to handle Isner, even though it's a bad disadvantage for him. Casper over Daniel. Schwartzman over Casper. Medvedev over Schwartzman, though I'll be rooting for Schwartzman just because I'm a fan of Schwartzman over Medvedev, though I like Medvedev. Nothing against the guy. Stefanos over Herbert. Kekmanovic, I'm going to pick him as having a nice win over Norrie. And I'm going to have TC Potts over both Murray, Herbert, and Kekmanovic. We're gonna go. Pierre is motivated. Benoit has been very unmotivated dude lately. Ugo is kind of an up and down player in my opinion. So I'm gonna go Pierre with the win. We're gonna go Millman over Guerin. You know what? I'm gonna do Pierre again. Pierre's making it all the way to Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas is gonna win. We're going to do FAA over Lopez, FAA over Agut. We're going to do Karajanovic over TFO, Rublev over Karajanovic, Rublev. I'm going to go FAA over Rublev, and then I'm going to go FAA over TC Potts. I'm hoping something like this happens, or even Rublev over Tsitsipas, because I want to see guys like FAA and Rublev just start pushing towards those semifinals and quarterfinals more. And Tsitsipas has been off lately. I think he wants to go back to the clay. Here we go. Karen over Kuvas. Dennis over Karen. Dennis over Korda. We're going to go Sinner over Monfils. Zverev. My mouse isn't working. Zverev over Bublik. Zverev over Sinner. Zverev over Dennis. And then we got a really good... Do I have everything picked? Berrettini versus Sonego. The one I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to pick Sonego just because that's who I'm going to be rooting for. I'm going to be rooting for Sonego. I'm going to pick Fritz over Brusky. Alon Karasev over... Oh, wait a second. There we go. Alon Karasev over Toms. Why can't I click? And then I'm going to do Fritz over Karasev. And then we are going to do Nishikori over Mackie McDonald. And we got Djokovic going to the finals, beating Sonego in the quarterfinals, beating Zverev in the semifinals. And in the finals, I'm going to pick Medvedev over Djokovic in a heartbreaking fashion for Djokovic to not get his 21st win and to not complete the year Grand Slam. And honestly, in my opinion, especially looking at these brackets, the only three guys that I really am giving a good chance to winning to: Djokovic, Zverev, that quarterfinal match, or is there a semifinal match? That semifinal match is going to be basically a final. Like that, Djokovic or Zverev, I really think it's going to be those two guys. Maybe Berrettini quarterfinals. Like Djokovic might have to face Berrettini, Zverev, Medvedev. That's a 3-match run right there. I pushed my boy Sonego a little further than maybe he deserves. Like I said, this isn't for money. I don't really see any chance of any of the guys that I'm looking at right now winning. Busta, Korda, Dennis, Rublev. I would love for Rublev to have a chance to win, but after his performance against Zverev in Washington, wherever it was, Cincinnati. I think it was Cincinnati. I don't have faith in Rublev to really make it past like those. He's like a quarterfinal guy, 4th round guy right now. I picked him to lose against FAA. I think that's going to be a really good close match, but I don't see FAA having a chance to win. I picked him to beat Tsitsipas because I'm hoping for a nice breakout from a guy like FAA, but realistically, Tsitsipas is going to be a huge favorite in that match and should be. Tsitsipas, I was going to bet him. It was the Madrid final versus, or was it the Barcelona final? Madrid or Barcelona final versus Nadal. I bet Tsitsipas, and it was a very close bet. It was pretty hilarious. They named the court after Nadal before the match because Nadal's won that the tournament like a million times, and I was like, oh god, they're literally naming the court after the guy I just bet against. I am stone dead. And Tsitsipas had 2 championship points and missed both of them, and it was heartbreaking. And I lost a good amount of money there while shopping for plants with my wife. It was like, she's like, do you like these vine tomatoes? And I was like, I can't look at vine tomatoes. Stephanos is killing me right now. But since that day, I shouldn't say since that day, since they got off clay, he's just not looked the same. So that's why I'm picking FAA. Schwartzman and Medvedev, Schwartzman always has a chance to win. He wins return games at such a high rate. If he can just increase his service game winning by just a little bit, he really can win. He really can win a tournament like this. I don't see it happening, which is why I pick Medvedev. And again, kind of what I was saying that whole time there is Zverev, Medvedev, Djokovic are really, if you're going to bet a future, I would pick one of those 3, and I really wouldn't bet anyone else. Just how this tournament is setting up and how this draw happened, that's really all I can see happening. Maybe Stephanos, maybe he comes back with on fire. He has a pretty easy route to, relatively speaking, to the semis. Yeah, he has a pretty easy route